Hello, it's Tracker Joe, and in this episode, I am supposed to make some expansions on the Starhold. So, before I do any of that, I just want to inspect the Starhold. I am then going to formulate a course of action in order to improve it, also noting anything that's missing from it. So, for example, I have a sizable amount of fuel storage, but I do not have any RCS storage, and so I'm going to have one of those large tanks. I need to have a facility supporting at least 21 Kerbals. I need 3 pilots. How many pilots? So I have 1 pilot. Let's see here. I have 2 pilots. So I'm going to need to send up 1 pilot and expand it. Let's see, how many Kerbals? Now, this will actually tell me how many I already have. I can store 14. Oh, I didn't even have to check that. So, yeah. So what I'm thinking is, it's going to be a simple habitation module. So let's just get to the Space Center, shall we? So I did check the science area, and nothing interests me. I have this huge amount of resources, but nothing interests me. I don't need any of the new parts yet. So I need to come up with a module that is a habitation module. And what I'm thinking of doing is using a command pod. Also, I want a large RCS fuel tank. Actually, I think I'm going to have 2 here. We're going to have these. So now we have 6, which gives us 20 Kerbals. So I could use a couple of modules. And how do I rotate this? Oh, WASD. It has been a long time, and I've been spoiled by space engineers. So this module is already looking nice and small, but it's missing something very important. And that is this. We want to have ladders that span the length here, because I think it's important that our Kerbals not have to use jetpacks when traversing the ship. Okay, I'm going to need some power. I can just put this here, and that's going to be the power that this has. So this module is just going to provide a tiny bit of trickle charge of power. Okay, I'm going to want to place some RCS thrusters, and I had forgotten momentarily, but this command capsule actually comes with its own RCS built in, and so that's going to give us the control authority for the pitch and roll. And I can just place these monopropellant thrusters like this, and we'll stagger them just like that. And this will provide us with the forward, back, and side-to-side translation. Actually, I could even move this a little further back, and just because I prefer aesthetics to make sense, I'm just going to extend them out like this from this pod, which will also give them a little bit more authority than they should have, but that's fine. So this should provide me with forward and backwards traverse from this area, which is fine, and then I can also steer from both ends. So this looks good. And then the last thing I need to do is find coupling, and we just need a docking port. So yeah. Anyway, this is like the first time I actually built something in this without actually doing the montage with you guys. I mean, actually no, I did that for some of my early designs. So yeah, I'm just going for something small, so this makes sense. So I named this, I gave it a very short and to the point name. Very accurately reflects what it technically can do. And we're just going to save this. Let's switch this editor. Ah, that's nice and seamless. Oh, they must have done a balance pass over the game and I didn't notice. So evidently, the fuel hauler has something in it that I have locked. And I don't know what it is. Okay, I didn't think I was going to spend money here, but evidently one of these engines, the Wolfhound, actually is locked. They had rebalanced it. It used to be heavier rocketry, but they changed that. And the reason why they changed this is probably because it has far better ISP of any chemical burning engine. So that's why I need to grab this. They also have the Rhino, which I wouldn't use next to that. So I'm going to research this and purchase those parts, and then we may want the large volume containment just so that we can afford to place these engines down, but I won't worry about that. So that should actually save our design. I don't know why I didn't notice at first, but I do actually have some launchers. Now the Duna light launchers for launching light things to Duna, so I'm not going to do that. The Alpha Heavy though should actually have space, and it even fits in the fairing. So I could just launch this rocket. There we go, Starhold habitation module, and we should be ready to go. Now, the only crew that I need, we don't want any of you, but we are going to send Valentina up because she's going to be the very first Kerbal to set foot on Duna. Or rather, she is going to be the very first Kerbal to actually fly a plane. But I'm not going to do that until I know that it's safe. And then hopefully she doesn't die in a freak accident, because that would be terrifying. But that's what tends to happen to Kerbals. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the boosters and the main rocket and just launch off of these. Now, first thing I kind of want to do, I want to ensure that we're actually meandering the right direction. I actually have to raise my thrust dramatically and correct. There we go. And I'm going to just have to keep this. This is going to be a super aggressive gravity turn. So, before I do too much, I want you to be my target. That's going to help a little. Now, unfortunately, I have to accelerate quite a bit prematurely, which is causing some extra drag. But I can now cut it off. I needed to be a certain speed before I was going this hard. Now I'm also going to try to adjust the thrust a little. Yeah, I'm getting red hot. Here goes thrusters. Stage 1 is still going. My altitude looking like. So we're going to go to 75 meters. So I should hopefully have enough delta V. Actually, okay, good. And I have to start burning now because I have actually passed the time. Also, I had completely forgotten that I could easily take off the fairing. I am rusty. I apologize. Anyway, you might not have noticed I added lights. You couldn't have noticed because I actually had lights to start with when I launched, and I just added them without telling you. So yeah, I kind of got ahead of myself there. That's good. So I have crossed the Karman line. Let's perform this maneuver, because we're going to need to do this anyway. This will get us close. It's about 2 seconds, so I'm going to wait and perform that burn when the time comes. Probably means just time accelerating until it is 10 seconds. There we go, so getting ready to perform a 2-second burn. I'm going to do it like this. There we go. Have a really good maneuver. And it's a simple prograde maneuver here. So all I have to do now, just warp to that maneuver. Okay, it is about time. I just used a different satellite in order to unlock higher speeds of time warp. And this should have allowed me to easily manage the amount of thrust. Speaking of which, I also have way too much fuel, but that's part of the reason why I can deorbit. I really should have considered sending this again, like with a fuel hauler though. So, this is only 1 hour, 7 minutes. Good, good, good. That's pretty funny. Like, we're getting our signal directly from the Starhold now. Here we go. So, let's go to orbit prograde because that's where our maneuver is. There we go, using a tiny fraction of RCS in order to do. Now we can do target retrograde, and now we should get within 100 meters. Unfortunately, the rendezvous is going to be on the dark side, but that's just how it worked out. We have light, so that's not going to be an issue. Also, that's super weird that we're using the moon network. So I'm going to start using some RCS. I think this is pretty accurate. So I'm going to detach the booster module, and it's just going to float around here, and I'll get back to that. And now I can use the monopropellant to maneuver. Now, one thing I did forget were reaction wheels. I actually do have reaction wheels because of that, the modules. Never mind. I didn't need to worry. There we go. That was the smoothest docking procedure ever. Now, of course, my pro tip for these kinds of docking procedures, don't pay too much attention to how it looks visually unless you are just aligning your ship to be at like a certain angle relative to the station when you dock. There's no point. Anyway, please tell me that I have done this. So we have the third pilot, which is Valentina, and she's going to be staying in this module. I'm actually going to transfer her to this one, just because. it makes sense for her to get view. That way we can like see her staring off into space. We managed to get a new module and we have expanded the Starhold. Now I just need to deorbit this booster, which is far too much for what it is. I'm going to just switch to that. Go retrograde. And we're just going to have it deorbit. I'm going to want to increase my thrust. Yeah, this is turning into a suicide burn. Oh, this is a suicide burn. Well. Oh, and I can no longer slow myself down. So, let's see if anything survives. Well, there goes the engine, which was one of the most expensive parts. I saved the probe core. Oh, we got 1,000 back. That's close. So, yeah, note to self. You can't land the kind of booster without any kind of aid. So I'm going to make sure to put parachutes on it the next time I launch it, so that I can recover it and get the full value back. Because the engine's especially expensive. Now let's see here. Oh, I think this is worth it. I could send my rover up there, so that's fine. Since it's in Minimus, I will accept that contract. No. So that's fine, that's fine. But, anyway, enough about that. We managed to expand the Starhold, and with that, I am quite happy. Let's just look at this. So, the Starhold has been expanded, and I'm quite pleased with how it looks right now. I am going to be vacating this vessel soon enough when I get the chance. And I have slots for 3 more of these modules to go in the main hub. And then I'm going to expand off of that and have a solar array which also contains the docking points for different craft. And we're going to see how well that works out. So, see you next time.